Let's start with, let's talk voting rights here. What's in this bill, and why did the House feel like they needed to do it?
Yeah, Tim, I mean, this was interesting. I mean, we heard Kevin saying that there were a number of votes taken up by the House because of the threats for today. And this was one of them. And so the House House Democrats have really been working to secure and expand voting rights for all Americans for a number of years since the 2018 midterms. But now it's coming at a really critical time because as we're seeing across the nation, a lot of lawmakers, many Republican lawmakers, are trying to actually roll back some of the protections that people have to vote. And so this specific bill, it's called H.R. 1, and it targets a number of those actions that House Democrats feel are threatened. So I want to go through a few of those. It mandates automatic voter registration. It expands early and mail-in voting. It restores the rights to formerly incarcerated people to vote. And it also targets things like ending partisan gerrymandering and creating more transparency when it comes to campaign finance. So it's a lot of things that House Democrats have been sort of focused on for the past few years, but it's coming at a pretty critical time here in this country.
Yeah, at a time when Republican state legislatures across the country are trying to limit voting because they realize that if they expand voting, and they've said this out loud, if they expand voting rights and make it easier for people to vote, it threatens the future of the party. What about the Senate, though? I mean, passes in the House. Any chance of this passing in the Senate?
I mean, so the thing is, Tim, this was really largely voted along party lines. We saw it 220 to 210. And so a lot of the reports that we're getting is that it is unlikely to pass in the Senate. But I think we have to think, too, about sort of what is happening here in this country, right? As you can see here, there are a number of restrictive voting bills that are happening across the country. As you mentioned, a lot of those are coming from Republicans. And I think we should note a lot of those target minority voters, right? And so Democrats feel like this is important to increase voter turnout. It will help people get out to the polls the next time. Republicans, though, say that, it's not up to the federal government. It is up to states to decide on this. But, this wasn't always partisan, Tim. As we know, it's really increased over the past few years. And so it's going to be really difficult for Democrats to pass this in the Senate because they will need 10 Republicans to get on their side.
Yeah, and look, it's important to keep in mind that a lot of Republicans who are talking about this on the national level are talking about irregularities in the 2020 election. Remember, have been no confirmed widespread reports, or no confirmed reports of widespread irregularities. And in fact, the former president's own Department of Homeland Security called this a safe and fair election. What about when it comes to police reform? Because the House was pretty busy yesterday.